President's statement reveals intention to introduce a new constitution centered around the concept of one country, one law. 19th Amendment to be repealed. Changes to the electoral system also in the books. Mahinda Yapa appointed as Speaker. Sajith Premadasa appointed as the opposition leader. What position will former President Maithripala receive?
සාකච්ඡාවක් තිබෙනවා යම් කාරණා පිළිබඳව තවම මට හරියට කියන්න බෑ. දැනට අපි ඒකට අවශ්‍ය කරන ෆ්‍රේම්වර්ක් එක ගැන කතා කරලා තිබෙනවා.
Central Bank announces a raft of concessions. Maximum interest rate on credit cards reduced to 18%. Intermittent power cuts to end from tomorrow.
Good evening, this is Primetime News on Election First. Onto a more comprehensive look of those stories and more. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa promised sweeping changes to the country's constitution that will ensure a stable parliament, and priority will be given to the concept of one country, one law for all the people in his address to parliament today.
The President was welcomed at the Parliament this afternoon by Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abewardena. The military guard of honor and the 21-gun salute was not held this time as per the directives of the President. The President proceeded into the Parliament and made the government's policy statement.
The basis of the success of a democratic state is its constitution. Our constitution, which has been amended 19 times from its inception in 1978, has many ambiguities and uncertainties, resulting in confusion. As the people have given us the mandate, we wanted a constitutional amendment. Our first task will be to remove the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. After that, all of us will get together to formulate a new constitution suitable for the country. In this, priority will be given to the concept of one country, one law for all the people. An unstable parliament that cannot take firm decisions and succumb to extremist influences very often is not suitable for a country. While introducing a new constitution, it is essential to make changes to the current electoral system. While retaining the statutory aspects of the proportional representation system, these changes will be made to ensure stability of the parliament and people's direct representation.
The President spoke about fulfilling the responsibilities vested upon him.
In accordance with the supreme constitution of our country, I have pledged to protect the unitary status of our country and to protect and nurture the Buddha Sasana during my tenure. While ensuring priority for Buddhism, it is now clear to the people that freedom of any citizen to practice the religion of his or her choice is better secured. When we took over the government, the confidence of the people in the security of the country had been severely dented due to the Easter Sunday attacks that occurred in 2019. Establishing firmly that the prime policy of our government is national security, we have restructured the security apparatus and intelligence services, eliminating the fears of the people and thereby restoring the security of the country. As I have pledged, the launch of the methodical mechanism to protect the people against social evils, such as the activities of the underworld and the drug menace that have been a hindrance to the day-to-day activities of the people, has also increased the confidence of the public. It is clear that people enthusiastically supported us in this election due to the trust we have been able to build in them in this manner. We will continue to serve the people in a manner that affirms this trust. We have a clear understanding of the expectations with which the people gave such a powerful mandate to the government. We will leave no room for such expectations to be dashed for any reason. It should be always remembered that the prime responsibility of a people's representative is to serve the public.
යුතු කරන්නේ නැහැ. ජනතා ඡන්දයෙන් පත්වන මහජන නියෝජිතයෙකුගේ මූලික වගකීම ජනතා සේවය බව හැම විටම මතක තබා ගත යුතුයි.
The President explained the national policy framework, vistas of prosperity and splendor, eliminate discrepancies in the delivery of free healthcare facilities. Ayurvedic and indigenous medical systems will be preserved and promoted. Special attention to uplift agriculture. Adequate water and fertilizer during their cultivation seasons. Broad set of activities to rehabilitate the tanks and to develop the irrigation system across the country. Short-term and long-term solutions for unemployment. A decision to not enroll employees in an unnecessary manner to any ministry or state institution. Self-employment and entrepreneurship to be promoted. Employment generation.
දේශීය හා ගෝලීය අභියෝගයන් ජයගෙන
In order to overcome both local and global challenges and revive the economy, we will have to adopt new ways of thinking. Out-of-the-box thinking is required in order to meet the economic challenges. This time the ministries have been formed with this thought in mind.
The President said that the government's aim are to strengthen the local economy and to increase export income. Restarting tea factories that have shut down and eliminate existing irregularities. Reclaiming the global brand name we held for Ceylon tea. Encouraging planting of new coconut saplings. The President noted that plantation of palm oil trees will be stopped completely. Promoting the production of export crops such as pepper and cinnamon. Increasing the capacity of universities. Methodical development of traditional industries such as batik, local apparel, brass, cane, pottery, furniture, gem and jewelry. Paving the way for the country to promote self-employment, to generate new employment opportunities as well as to build businesses and earn a large amount of foreign exchange. All fishery harbors will be modernized. Steps to build new harbors as per any necessity. Bringing a halt to the plundering of our oceans by unlawful foreign fishing vessels.
සෞභාග්‍ය දැක්ම ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ
In the national policy framework, vistas of prosperity and splendor, we promised the people that we would eradicate waste and corruption. This is a core responsibility of all of us. We will take steps to completely eradicate waste and corruption in all the ministries and institutions. In the future, I will not hesitate to enforce the law against those who are involved in fraud and corruption, irrespective of their status. Constantly, I will review the progress of the achievements of the goals of the government that are implemented through ministries and the public sector. If I find any ministry failing to achieve its set targets, I will not hesitate to effect necessary changes to implement policies of the government. I love my country. I am proud of my country. I have a vision for my country. Our ardent desire is to build a prosperous nation with a productive citizen, contented family, and a righteous society. What we have done so far, as well as the plans we propose to implement in the future, will be aimed to achieve this objective. I extend my hand of friendship to everyone to join me in building the prosperous nation we promised to our people. May the noble triple gem bless you all.
රත්වේ දෑත් දිගුකට ආරාධනය කරනවා. ස්තුතියි ඔබ සැමට තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Following the parliamentary sitting, the President Prime Minister, ministers and parliamentarians attended a tea party organized at the parliamentary complex.
Still on the stories that made it to your headlines this evening, the inaugural session of the 9th Parliament of Sri Lanka was held this morning. A number of key appointments, including electing a speaker, were made during the session.
Mahinda Yapabewardena was elected the Speaker of the 9th Parliament. His name was nominated by Leader House Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and was seconded by Opposition MP Ranjit Madhuba Bandara.
ගරු පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී මහින්ද යාපාබේවර්ධන මැතිතුමාගේ නම යෝජනා කිරීමට කැමැතියි.
මහින්ද යාපාබේවර්ධන මැතිතුමාගේ නම මම ස්ථීර කරනවා.
The new speaker took oaths and thereafter newly elected MPs took oaths.
තානායකවරයා වශයෙන් මා තෝරාපත් කර ගැනීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්
මම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ අනුකම්ප ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවට
Party leaders extended their well wishes to the newly elected speaker.
විවිධ ශේෂ්ත්‍රයේ අමාත්‍යතා
He is a person who has held office as a minister in a number of industries and possesses extensive experience in state administration. We wish you all the strength required to conduct your affairs in Parliament in an unbiased manner.
ඒ වගේම තුමට ලැබේවායි කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා.
Mr. Speaker, democratically elected Parliament is the epitome of a functioning democracy. It is incumbent upon all of us to protect and promote a vibrant and sound democracy. Right Honourable Speaker, sir, as the custodian of this august assembly, you are ethically and morally obliged to uphold the great principles of democracy and the legitimacy of this institution. It is incumbent upon you to be equitable, impartial, unbiased and non-prejudicial. It is incumbent upon you to nourish and nurture these main ingredients of democracy.
With your long experience in Parliament, I have not the slightest doubt that you will discharge your functions effectively and efficiently in the way to all members of Parliament. May I clearly state, Honourable Speaker, that I and my party will extend to you our maximum cooperation that you will expect of us in the discharge of your functions as Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
We have in the past attempted to introduce many reforms within the House, the way in which this House conducts its affairs, and also to maintain the dignity and decorum of the affairs of this Assembly. These progressive measures, I hope, under your esteemed leadership, will be maintained.
You have held office in a number of ministries, including health, agriculture and cultural affairs. We believe you will fulfill your duty as Speaker. This is a pluralistic nation and it is exemplified through its Parliament today. I believe it will remain the same in the future.
The post of Speaker has been handed over to a talented individual. We expect you to ensure the safety of all parliamentarians.
We have a very powerful government now. A similar government was constituted under the late J.R. Jayawardena in 1977. It was during that regime that we had the 1983 program. Certainly this government too could follow the path of the elephant of that time and end up as today reduced to a single member in the future. But I'm sure they would not. They would prefer to learn from our mistakes of the past and usher in a period of peace and prosperity where all communities would feel equal to each other and walk with dignity and pride as children of Mother Lanka.
We believe you will act and conduct parliamentary affairs in a manner which would expedite the process towards fostering a virtuous political culture. Your leadership is essential within this supreme house.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to congratulate you on behalf of Ceylon Workers Congress and the Indian origin community. I have the honor and privilege of being the youngest member in this house, and what I have seen is that people have given this government the mandate to work, and under your guidance and under your leadership, I'm sure we can bring a change to Mother Sri Lanka. Thank you.
You have been empowered by the House to ensure the sovereignty of the country. We can describe you as a cool person who is a senior leader.
cool කියලා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් cool එකකින් ඉඳගෙන වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් නායකයා ඔබතුමාට ජනතාව විසින්
We strongly believe you will not allow the constitutional power vested with you through the mandate of the people to be misused by others.
The new government has planned to draft a fresh constitution at the first cabinet meeting itself. Successive governments have changed the constitution. You should draft a constitution in a manner which ensures other governments do not feel the need to amend it yet again.
This is a powerful government. Although the opposition is small, we believe you will treat everyone equally. The government should provide a solution to the national issues when drafting a fresh constitution.
You are a public representative who made decisions in accordance with your conscience, especially when the Indo-Lanka agreement was signed in 1987. Appointing such a person as the Speaker of this House can in some ways be regarded as respecting this House.
Those who are sitting on your right and your left represent the largest ruling party which has been elected into parliament through the system of proportional representation. You will be able to preside over such a parliament only because of the love and respect you have instilled in all MPs sitting here today.
The previous government imprisoned me to carry on with their governance. I joined the LTTE at 16 and rebelled. However, since the ideologies of the LTTE were wrong, I defected from the LTTE and created my own party in a democratic manner. The people from all corners of the country have united and created a strong government. I will assist any process of strengthening provincial council systems through the 13th Amendment. The Attorney General's Department claims I must obtain permission from the Batticalow Court every day. That is not a practical thing.
We believe you will create peace within this parliament the same way this country is at peace right now. We hope the shortcomings of past governments will be left behind, a past where parliamentary democracy and the people's sovereignty were disrespected.
This post is an independent post. You provide leadership to all 224 of us. However, in the past we saw how certain leaders who sat there tainted the independence of this parliament by attempting to safeguard their party.
We must not forget, Mr. Speaker, that all parties represented in this House come here today with their respective mandates. Those mandates must be respected. Those mandates must be voiced. Those mandates must be debated, and due place must be given. In a House that is so heavily weighted on one side, it is your responsibility to ensure that such debates and such fairness takes place.
I wish to extend my gratitude towards the confidence instilled in me by both the ruling party and the opposition. I promise to carry out this heavy responsibility entrusted to me by all of you, honestly and efficiently to the fullest extent possible, while constantly protecting the distinctive features of this supreme position, such as independence and impartiality.
Mahinda Yapabewardena is a seasoned politician bearing more than 30 years of political experience. Mahinda Yapabewardena, who contested the by-election of the Hakwana electorate in 1983, entered parliament representing the United National Party. He has been in parliament for 23 years and has held a number of ministerial positions, including cultural affairs and national heritage and agriculture. He has attended a number of international parliamentary conferences, including a meeting of Asian parliamentarians for peace held in Beijing, China in 2002. Mahinda Yapabewardena also holds considerable experience in provincial councils, as he was the chief minister of the southern province between 1994 and 2001. He was also the chairman of the Southern Provincial Council from 1993 to 1994. Speaker Mahinda Yapabewardena was elected into Parliament representing the SLPP after securing 80,895 preferential votes from the Mathura district at the 2020 general election. The Speaker announced today that he recognizes the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajith Premadasa, as the leader of the opposition.
I would like to announce to the House that I have recognized Sajith Premadasa as the leader of the opposition of the 9th Parliament.
Sajith Premadasa, who was elected into Parliament for the first time after securing the highest percentage of votes in the year 2000, was appointed Deputy Minister of Health in 2001. Under the Yahapalana government in 2015, he was appointed Minister of Housing and Construction and rejuvenated his father's Udagam concept while rendering a great service to the people through the housing project. Projects such as Sasunata Aruna, Vevai Dagabai, Gamai Pansalai, implemented by Sajith Premadasa, have largely contributed towards the betterment of society. He also acted as the Minister of Cultural Affairs. Sajith Premadasa, who contested the 2019 presidential election, later formed the Samagi Jana Balawegaya and under his leadership has managed to elevate the party as the main opposition of the 9th Parliament. Meanwhile, Ranjit Siambalapitiya from the Kegol district was named Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Ranjit Siambalapitiya's name was recommended by Minister Mahinda Amaravira and seconded by State Minister Nimal Lansa.
Sanjit Siambalapitiya Mahata Navani Parliamentu Niyojya Kathanayaka වශයෙන් යථා ප්‍රතිචන්තයෙන් තෝරාගත් කර බැලු බව මම මේ සභාවට ප්‍රකාශ කර සිටිමි.
Member of Parliament from the Jaffna district, Angajan Ramanathan, was appointed Deputy Chairman of Committees. His name was recommended by Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva and seconded by State Minister Duminda Disanayaka. Ministers Dinesh Gunawardena and Johnston Fernando have been named Leader of the House and Chief Government Whip, respectively.
What post will former President Maithripala Sirisena receive in the current Parliament? Former President Maithripala Sirisena spoke only about the programs of the current government and did not provide an answer when questioned about the position. The new Parliament convened today. The President will speak in the afternoon. We also hope to carry forward the program of the new government under the President's plan, Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor. We hope to create a better country and develop the economy as well. I hope that the support of everybody in the country will be extended for this purpose. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, State Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara, was questioned about the position that will be provided to the former President.
There is a discussion. I cannot tell you about it now. The framework is being discussed. This will be put forward after the 20th Amendment and the Constitutional Amendment.
State Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara was attired in a batik suit at the parliamentary session today. He is the State Minister of Batik, Handloom Fabrics and Local Apparel Products.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Madura Witanage of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, who was elected to parliament from the Colombo district, arrived at the parliamentary complex on a boat. He is one of the 81 novice parliamentarians elected at the general election. The parliament is situated on a beautiful reservoir. If not on a boat, how else should I come here? Thanks to the President, we came here on a boat today. It was the President who arranged this facility. We hope to provide this facility to the general public as well. This was given to the people in the past as well, but they were not too keen about it. But in the future, we hope to introduce this as a solution to the heavy traffic. This will be done together with the Sri Lanka Navy and the SLRDC Institute. We hope to develop this water-based transport system in Colombo as a solution to the traffic in the city.
The attention of many was drawn towards the future parliamentary journey of Sivanesature Chandrakanthan, alias Pillayan. The MP, who is currently imprisoned, arrived at Parliament with the permission of court. I have served the people. That is why they elected me. That's all at the moment. I have more to tell, but as I am in prison at present, I will tell you later. However, Premalal Jayasekara, who is on death row and has appealed the decision, did not attend the inaugural sitting of Parliament today.
It is a very peaceful, problem-free policy statement. There is nothing wrong with the policy statement, but it must be implemented. If his policies can be implemented in the country, there is nothing wrong with that.
I think this was a beginning that ensures that the aspirations of the 6.9 million people who place their trust in us will be realized.
Moving towards a new generation. I mean, if you look at it, there are many youth representing people right now in the parliament, and all of them have their own ideas. And at the end of the day, I'm happy to see that the youth and sports minister is someone under the age of 35. Till now, if you look at it, everyone says upcountry, everyone thinks tea estate workers. I think that image needs to be changed, and we'll definitely change that.
We have seen many speeches on how to develop the national economy and local industries. Let us wait and see what steps will be taken to uplift the national economy. I believe that this is what is important, not the statements made. So we will be vigilant about the steps that will be taken.
We will support what is good and oppose what is wrong. We are ready to do something good for the country.
The people are unhappy about the electoral system. This electoral system is one of the main reasons for politicians to become corrupt. So we hope to change this electoral system and replace it with an electoral system and a constitution that will allow the country to go forward without corruption.
Look at how many people who sold the country to China, India and America are here. So this is false patriotism. To be honest, these people sold the army headquarters to China. They are going to sell the harbor to Modi, and they are trying to give land to America and get $448 million through the MCC. This country is not being governed by the people who are here. This country is controlled by Donald Trump, Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping. They are the sponsors.
The opposition will take a long time to understand what happened. Understanding that the people will severely punish any acts that are carried out against their mandate is a feature of democracy.
I have heard many throne speeches. Every president makes similar throne speeches, but only a very few of them are implemented. I see this as something similar to what the previous president said.
This government has a target. Cabinet ministers and state ministers have been given targets. We established this government to reach these goals.
The results of all this will be for the people. That was the core meaning of this speech. I believe that a better speech has not been given before.
The 8th Parliament of Sri Lanka brought about the darkest stage in the history of the country. We hope that the 9th Parliament of Sri Lanka can bring about a golden age in the country. One of the main points made by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today during the government's policy statement was focused on abolishing the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, following other views expressed by party representatives in that regard.
Cabinet had decided to amend the 19th Amendment by way of introducing a 20th Amendment. Scope of it will be decided by the Cabinet, and for that purpose there is a 5-member, senior Cabinet members are there along with me, 5-member committee to give instruction as to what could be the thing. So it is too premature for me to say what are those things, and I am bound by the direction of the Cabinet.
Plan to do the best we can to fight this strong government and put them right if they are trying to do wrong things, and support them if they are trying to improve on the good things that we have started.
The 19th Amendment to the Constitution is brought to strengthen the democracy, but from our end we could not accomplish it properly. So there can be a few lapses in it. If they are trying to bring the new amendment to correct the wrongs, then we are ready to sit down and hold discussions and support it. But if they are trying to abolish the 19th Amendment completely, then we will be against it. We will see it as an act that is against the democracy. Abolishing the 19th Amendment is against the Constitution. New clauses, apart from the ones that the 19th have added to the Constitution, has to be presented by the 20th. There are about 100 new clauses included in the Constitution by the 19th. We have to look into the fact as to what clauses they will remove, amend or keep. We will support it completely as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Also, we will provide them with the necessary strength to amend the election system. We have been granted the power of a two-thirds, so there is no need of turning back right now. The people have given us the mandate to abolish the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. The people have given us the two-third majority with no doubt to do that. The time has come to fulfill our responsibilities. I would like to say that we will commit and devote towards that.
Meanwhile, a party leaders' meeting was held in Parliament this morning.
At the party leaders' meeting today, it was decided to present a vote on account for the coming months. The vote on account for 1.6 trillion rupees is due to be tabled in Parliament. The vote on account would allocate funds from the 1st of September until the next budget is passed in Parliament. Mainly, we need to approve funds for the government to operate. We will act according to the parliamentary traditions. We will inform Parliament tomorrow and hold debates on the 27th and 28th of next month. The Speaker was requested to change the dates of the training program for the new parliamentarians. Thereby, the Speaker changed the dates. During the party leaders' meeting, a debate arose regarding the time allocated for the opposition. They speak about parliamentary democracy and the opposition, but based on the fact that they have more MPs, they allocated more time for them at the party leaders' meeting. We had a two-thirds majority in the past and we gave 60% of the time to the opposition. We only allocated 40% to the government. It is the opposition that leads the debates. We are sad that they violated parliamentary tradition and allocated more time for them at the party leaders' meeting today. Meanwhile, the parliamentary group of the Samagijana Balavagia decided to appoint Lakshman Kiriyalla as the chief opposition whip. There is a head of parliamentary affairs. There are 4 deputy coordinators and 4 additional coordinators. Lakshman Kiriyalla has been appointed as the chief opposition whip. Gayantha Karunatilaka has been appointed as the head of parliamentary affairs.
Taking a break from all the political stories and the inaugural session of the 9th Parliament, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka announced several interest rate concessions today.
The Monetary Board at the Central Bank of Sri Lanka revised the regulated interest rates of credit cards. Thereby, the Monetary Board has decided to reduce the maximum interest rate on credit cards to 18% from a previous rate of 28%. The maximum interest rate on pawning facilities of gold jewelry was reduced to 10% from 12%. The maximum interest rate on pre-arranged temporary overdrafts was brought down to 16% from 24%. And the penal interest rate over the regular interest rate was also reduced to 2% from 4%. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, at its meeting held yesterday, decided to maintain the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate of the Central Bank at their current levels of 4.5% and 5.5% respectively. At a press briefing held today, Central Bank Governor W.D. Lakshman spoke about the reason behind the reduction in interest rates.
Bringing down excessive interest rates charged on these credit products to be in line with the envisaged single-digit interest rate structure will help the vulnerable borrowers to a great extent. The Bank Supervision Department will issue the necessary directions shortly to give effect to these changes from next Monday. The Central Bank would be looking at priority areas in the economy, as indicated in the overall government policy directions, to initiate appropriate credit and other programs of promotion. Given the widespread benefit to a very large number of people from such a scheme, we hope to soon begin with announcements about a housing credit program for low and middle income groups.
the export contraction being restricted to 26.4%. It is a substantial contraction, but what we have seen is that during the months of starting from May, we have seen a steady recovery in exports. And with that, in the first half of the year, export earnings amount to $4.4 billion, and imports have contracted by 20% to $7.7 billion in the first half of the year. This has resulted in a trade deficit of $3.3 billion in the first half of the year, which is lower than the trade deficit of $3.6 billion that we saw during the same period last year. There has been a build-up of official reserves. Official reserves have been estimated at $7.1 billion by end July 2020. That has provided an import cover of 4.7 months of imports, and since then there has been a further improvement of official reserves.
What is the progress on the Indian swap arrangement, and what are the plans to repay the $1 billion bond that will be due in October?
The India swap, I think we have already received $400 million under SAARC swap facility. That's why we are seeing reserve levels have gone up to about 7.2 billion. And to repay the October maturity, I think we are more than sufficient comfortable level of resource so that we can meet that debt service payments without any issue. Obviously, if you look at balance part of this year, is about 2.5 billion, and we have 7.2 billion. So I think we don't see any issue with debt repayment for this year. Then going forward, government will come up with a borrowing strategy so that we can look at it at that thing.
On to a startling revelation this evening. The Presidential Commission probing last year's April 21st attacks was informed that top intelligence and security officials were warned about an attack a day before it had taken place.
In a testimony at the Presidential Commission, former director of the State Intelligence Service, Nilantha Jayawardena, said he had received intelligence warnings of an attack at around 4:15 p.m. on the 20th of April last year. The warning had been sent through WhatsApp by a person whom he identified as a foreign counterpart. The informant had warned that Zahran Hashim of the National Tawhid Jamaat group and his associates have planned an attack to be carried out on or before the 21st of April. It read, quote, "They have reportedly selected 8 places, including a church and a hotel, where Indians inhabit in large numbers," unquote. The witness told the Commission that he had informed the then Defence Secretary, Inspector General of Police, Chief of National Intelligence, and the Senior DIG of the Criminal Investigation Department of this warning. He stressed that the warning was reliable and that he expected immediate action to be taken in that regard. Evidence produced before the Commission showed that the then Defence Secretary, Hemasiri Fernando, had responded to the SIS Director saying, quote, unquote, "well received." The witness noted that Police Chief Pujit Jayasundara had told him to pass on the information to the then Senior DIG of the Western Province, Nandana Munasinghe. He added that efforts to reach Munasinghe had proven futile. The witness told the Commission that he had then told the Defence Secretary to speak to the police chief as he might have not realized the gravity of the information. He said that a text message sent to the police chief on the intelligence information did not draw a response as well. According to the witness, the intelligence warning had reaffirmed the findings of the SIS that the explosion of a motorcycle in Kattankudi on the 16th of April 2019 was a dry run conducted by the group involved in the bombings.
In some positive news this evening, Chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board, Vijitha Herath, said that the supply of power to the island will not be interrupted after Friday. He said that they hope to incorporate the Norachole power plant to the national grid by tomorrow evening.
The entire country experienced a 6-hour blackout following a technical glitch said to have occurred at the Keravalapitia substation this Monday. Steps were taken to restore power transmission to the country shortly after. However, it was also decided to cut power transmission to certain parts of the island at scheduled time frames. This decision was taken due to a malfunction at the Norachole power plant. However, the chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board said that they expect to incorporate the Norachole power plant to the national grid by tomorrow evening. They are trying to say that the breakdown in the Norachole power plant was caused by a technical glitch at the Keravalapitia power plant. This is wrong. There are 2 incidents here. On one hand, the transmission system at the Keravalapitia power plant has broken down. Afterwards, the Norachole power plant had malfunctioned. The Sri Lanka Electricity Act states that the Ceylon Electricity Board and the Public Utilities Commission must provide an uninterrupted supply of electricity to the country. The Ceylon Electricity Board has violated the act in doing this. The chairman of the board, Vijitha Herath, is saying that this breakdown of transmission was a mistake. Millions of people in the country have to pay for the mistakes of the engineers of the CEB. Who should be held responsible for that? The chairman of the CEB, Vijitha Herath, should immediately resign from his position. This breakdown in power has uncovered the full face of the electricity mafia in the country. Chairman of the committee appointed to investigate the incident, Dr. Rahula Athalage, spoke to us about the progress of the investigations. The Honourable Minister requested us to investigate this incident and produce a report within 5 days. As the ambit of the investigations is quite large, we informed him that we will not be able to produce a report in 5 days. We said that we will be able to provide an interim report by the 24th of this month. These incidents took place at several locations: Kedavalapitiya, Norachole and the Systems Control Center. We need to go to these places and speak with those involved in what happened before we come to a conclusion. We hope to compile the facts by tomorrow afternoon. This cannot be done sooner than that. The issue is the fact that this matter is a technical issue and the ambit of the investigation is quite large. A team of officials from the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka are also due to visit the Kedavalapitiya substation and the Norachole power plant to inquire into the island-wide blackout.
Attorney General W. De Oliveira has instructed Acting Inspector General of Police C.D. Vikramaratne to conduct an investigation into Negombo Police Headquarters. Inspector and Police Media spokesperson SSP Jaliya Senaratne. This is related to the public statement made regarding the issuance of a warrant against the former superintendent of the Negombo prison, Anuruddha Sampayo.
මෙම අනුරුද්ධ සම්පායන අය පොලිස් භාරයට
When observing the CCTV footage from the location where Anuruddha Sampayo was taken into police custody, it was observed the police SUV of the Negombo Police Headquarters Inspector and a van with a group including the brother of the suspect were awaiting the arrival of Anuruddha Sampayo. It was observed Anuruddha Sampayo arrived in a red-colored Discovery Sports SUV and then walked towards a police SUV while on a phone call using his mobile phone and thereafter handed over the mobile phone to the Negombo Police Headquarters Inspector. It was also observed the Negombo Police Headquarters Inspector cordially greeting Anuruddha Sampayo upon the suspect's arrival. The Attorney General had informed the acting IGP that according to the CCTV footage, anyone would understand the events were not related to an arrest of a suspect but a pre-planned greeting of a person with a warrant against him. It was observed the Negombo Headquarters Inspector thereafter moved Sampayo to the rear passenger seat of the police SUV and acted in anticipation of the arrival of another individual and were engaged in a cordial dialogue. It was also observed those who arrived in the van which followed the police SUV were allowed to freely speak to the suspect in the rear of the police SUV who was not handcuffed at the time. The Attorney General had informed the acting IGP of the fact that it was evident from the CCTV footage the group was awaiting the arrival of a journalist from a certain media institution. It was clear from the CCTV footage the Negombo Headquarters Inspector had allowed the suspect to speak to the media using the mobile phone of the journalist who had arrived at the location. The Attorney General informed the acting IGP to investigate and report to him immediately on the collective charade staged by the Negombo Police Headquarters Inspector and Anuruddha Sampayo to portray to the general public that the suspect was arrested 11 days after a warrant was issued. Investigations and CCTV footage revealed the suspect was not arrested following an operation, although the Negombo Police Headquarters Inspector claimed the suspect was arrested following a successful intelligence operation on the 2nd of August 2020. Thereafter, the Attorney General had instructed the Acting Inspector General of Police to conduct an investigation against the Negombo Police Headquarters Inspector for including false notes on the arrest of the suspect and report back to the AG without delay. The Attorney General's department further said the police spokesperson had operated irresponsibly and misled the general public by making a false statement to media to claim the suspect was arrested as a result of a strategic intelligence operation. The Attorney General had directed the Acting Inspector General of Police to conduct an investigation on the police spokesperson's statement and report back without delay.
වැඩ බලන පොලිස් ප්‍රතිවරයාට උපදෙස් ලබා දීමක් සිදු කළා.
The police spokesperson makes statements based on the reports that he receives. The Attorney General has informed the Acting Inspector General of Police in writing to conduct an investigation on the matter. Therefore, I believe that it is not ethical for me to comment on an investigation regarding myself. The Attorney General has provided advice to conduct an investigation over the conduct of the Negombo HQI. The acting IGP has issued an order to the police.
Police impounded a boat suspected to have transported a narcotic substance named Mandy that was seized on the 16th of this month.
The multi-day fishing vessel was seized at the Ambalangada fishing port. The fishing vessel was seized based on information uncovered after questioning the suspects arrested for the possession of the narcotic substance. According to our correspondent, the fishing vessel is currently anchored at the Ambalangada Fisheries Harbour under police protection. A suspect was arrested for the possession of 12 kilograms of Mandy on the 16th of this month. The street value of the narcotic substance is 200 million rupees. The raid was carried out by a team of the Mount Lavinia Police.
A drinking water project constructed at the Maramandi Junior School in Mathura was vested with its students today, marking yet another milestone in the journey of Gamadda.
Water. We need it. We cannot live without it. And if we do not get it, we demand for it. But for many rural Sri Lankans, pure water is a dream. And today, for the children at this school in the deep south, their dream came true. Gamadda was able to provide a clean drinking water facility to the Maramandia Primary School, resolving a problem that had lasted for decades. Gamadda, by the people, for the people.
Former Sri Lankan cricket captain Mahela Jayawardene was appointed as the chairperson of the National Sports Council by Sports Minister Namal Rajapaksa this evening.
The other members of the NSC, which will advise the Sports Minister on sports policy matters, are former Sri Lankan cricket captain Kumar Sangakkara, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, National Swimming Champion Julian Bowling, Motor Racing Champion Dilantha Malagamua, first female Group CEO of a public quoted conglomerate Kasturi Chellaraja Wilson, CEO of a leading mobile service provider Supun Veerasinghe, veteran tea exporter Rohan Fernando, director at a leading apparel manufacturer Ruan Karagala, Sanjeeva Vikramanayaka, a veteran in the IT industry, chairman of the Sri Lanka Paralympic Committee Major General Ranjit Ampe Mohotti, sports lawyer Ruvena Samrasinghe, well-known basketball personality Yasmant Muttetwegama, and director general of sports Amal Edrisurya.
For this, we will set up a team behind us to do all administrative work. Whatever we are doing, that they will follow up, and there's be a specific team who will do all the day-to-day work.
And with that, it's a wrap of primetime news for today. And remember to stay ahead. You need to stay close to News First. For that, just simply log on to our website. That is www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Tarasha Kumar Singh along with our sign language interpreter for today, Brandy Cruz. Good night.